What is going on, guys? Correct 1287 here, bringing you a Titanfall gameplay. Definitely something that has not been seen on my channel in a very long time. And that's kind of sad. I thoroughly enjoyed Titanfall when it was released. I loved the weapon mechanics. It kind of had that fast-paced COD and Unreal and Quake-ish kind of feel, but still being a very modern-day kind of shooter with a lot of aim down sight and all that. But it lacked a good bit of content, and I still find that the map design in Titanfall is some of the best that we have ever seen. I did a video a long time ago pretty much saying that we should be marveling at what they have accomplished in making a game that had maps balanced to fit these 6-foot tall people that could wall run and double jump around to multiple levels, and that these maps also worked, all while having that in addition to these 20, 25 feet or 30 feet or however tall these Titans are walking around. And the fact that you can make a map that worked with these Titans and also these tiny enemies that were more agile and could fly around, but it's a very cool thing, the fact that they made them work and be balanced while having all these different kinds of gameplays. So very excited when I heard that Titanfall would be getting a free update that adds in 3 new game modes, one of which I'm not really interested in, Marked for Death Pro. Don't really care too much for that. The other one, though, in which I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's a Deadly Ground. I think that's what it is. Deadly Ground. It fills the ground floor with a fog that is electric or deadly. It kills you. And I really like that because one of the best parts for me for Titanfall was the fact that it was so fast-paced. Yet simple fast-paced. Not overly complicated fast-paced. And it was really cool. But people still would just run around like it was a standard COD game. So this kind of gets rid of that and forces people to stay off the ground and be mobile. It still doesn't prevent people from, using their Titan to eject onto some really, really high tower on the map and just sniping the rest of the round. That's incredibly annoying, but luckily with the game mechanics, it's easily to counter that and to kill him. And the third game mode is this one right here, which is the new co-op game mode. And it's freaking awesome that this is all free content. Whether you've purchased the any of the DLCs or even the season pass, even if you have not purchased any of that, you get this. Now you only get it for the maps that you have available, so if you haven't gotten any of the DLC maps, well then you won't be able to do this mode on any of the DLC. But if you have the DLC, then you get it on a total of all 24 of the maps that have been released for the game. And that's awesome, the fact that they released this for free. Props to Respawn for doing that, and it's just cool that their publisher didn't ruin it. So yeah, it's a really cool game mode. Now it only has 6 waves. I don't know if there's a more advanced mode that has more waves. I don't know if they plan to do that at a time. If you read the description when selecting this mode, it says that it's a mode only available for select time. I don't know if that means that this mode is going to be going away someday, which would suck, really. I don't see why they would have a reason to remove it. But if they do, then that's a bummer. I probably am not going to. This is not going to revitalize my Titanfall obsession that I had for the week to 2 weeks that it was out, which I knew it was going to happen. Just like all the Call of Duty games, I always get obsessed with them for a week to 2 weeks. They're that hot new thing, and then you realize, okay, it's just the same fast-paced thing over and over, and there's not too much tactical depth. And you can argue a case that there is, and there is, but not in the way that I want from something like PlanetSide or Battlefield. I much prefer those games. I love Titanfall. I love the gameplay. I love the map design. It just doesn't provide me that lasting appeal. I can't pour hundreds of hours into Titanfall, and just as I couldn't pour hundreds of hours into Call of Duty. But this mode is still going to be something cool. Again, since everybody gets it, there's no reason that me and some of the other TG guys can't just, you know, if they have to reinstall it, that's going to be a bummer because of how large the game is. But I still had it installed and just kind of did the update. It was like 1.9 gigs. It was, you know, chump change. And yeah, so it's no reason for us to not try this out. The gameplay you're seeing there in the background is just 3 pubs and myself. I have no clue who these guys are. This is actually my very first round. This is me getting a hang of things. I'm also having to remember my keys there. I'm trying to remember how to get out of this out of the Titan without ejecting, because that detonates them. And I do finally remember it's hold E, which I thought I did earlier. I just hadn't held it enough, which is why I then started going to all of the through all of my commands, shooting rockets. And there's this cool thing where you can plant these turrets. At the end of every round, they'll give you a turret, and you can have multiple ones out. I mean, there's definitely a lot of the kind of the basics that you've come to expect from things like Gears and other games that have done wave-based multiplayer. My biggest complaint, again, is that it's capped at 6 rounds. I didn't know that going in. I thought it was just going to be an endless until you lose. But it and you can lose. You'll see here in the round that we actually do lose, and the guy with us who's the Gen 10 rank 50, I think that's the highest you can get. I didn't really play. A lot has been added to Titanfall, things like voice packs. There's a black market for stuff. So a lot of things have been added, but I don't know if Gen 10 is the highest. I would imagine that it is. It's just got that nice round number to it. But yeah, he was with us, and he was getting a little hissy, and he was getting a little pissed at our performance. But there was 2 people, myself included, that were Gen 1. One guy was like a Gen 3, but he wasn't rank 50, so he didn't have everything unlocked. And this is what really hurt us, is we let one of the nuke guys get on the point. As you see there, it took off almost a quarter of the health, or it might have actually taken off a quarter. I think it was probably around like a fifth, probably was what it looked like. But yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to get a hang of the map. It's been a long time since I've used this mini map, and so getting the placement when I look at the mini map, knowing the distance, is that are those dots in the building or are they out of the building? A lot of these guys, there's those cloaker things running around or flying around, little cloaking drones that makes everybody completely cloaked. That threw me for a loop. I didn't know it would cloak them that well. So that's something that you got to pay attention to. They did add some new enemy types for this co-op game mode. Some AI things that you cannot see and will not see, I imagine, in the proper multiplayer game. And yeah, I mean, this was very enjoyable. I only did this once, this round once with the pubs. We end up losing at one point. They take our core out on the 6th wave, and so the guy that was Gen 10, he rage quit. He must have gotten fed up with us low-ranking noobs, but he's probably run this mode a dozen or so times, and he's gotten the hang of it. I've seen these things like inbound threats, mortar titan, suicide spec. I had no clue what these were. It took me a couple waves to notice that it actually did have the numerical values there as to how many you would be facing. That really helped. But no, if I can get me and 3 other TG guys on here, and we're all on TeamSpeak, and we're able to actually talk and get someone to be that designated, go on out and hunt down those mortar guys, because you've got to go out there to get the mortar guys. They stay far back, and they deal a lot of damage. But then you have to be on point, because these specters, they're small, they slip through. You don't really notice them when you're hunting titans. And I tried to spend a majority of my time hunting the titans. I figured those mortar guys were hitting pretty darn hard. But if you have too many people, leave the point, then that one radioactive nuke guy, the nuke titan, gets on the point. And I don't know if they get on the point. I don't know if there's a way to pull them off. I never really got a chance to try like meleeing them off or luring them away. But it seems like once they get there, they're just going to keep damaging it. And if you try to blow them up to kill them so they stop damaging it, well, then they blow up the point. So that seemed like a very serious threat. And so having that lack of communication really hurt us. And again, this is my very first round, so not only am I with pubs, but this is my very first round. I'm fighting my controls, trying to remember what is what. I don't even know what my loadout is. I'm sure there are weapons now, like the 40mm might not be the best. I like the 40mm because I could snipe pilots with it through the air, and it was just as effective against AI as it was against pilots, as it was against Titans, or at least it was back when I was using it. I don't know if damage models and stuff has been nerfed, but it seemed like it was still just as effective against AI. But something like the electric rifle, the Tesla, the one where you charge it and it can chain to enemies, that thing might be crazy powerful now. If you were to toss that onto your Titan and give it the chip that improves the Titan when the Titan's in AI mode, that could be incredibly advantageous in this game mode, since it is primarily, well, only against AI. My only fear would be that, what's its effectiveness against the Titans? Well, I mean, it seems like if you look at the map, you look at the mini-map, you can see there are little ammo caches around. I never ended up using one, so I don't know how readily they respawn. I don't know if they fully resupply you, if they resupply your anti-Titan weapons. So if you get a guided rocket, then yeah, that would probably be a really good balance. I mean, there's a lot of things that I plan to keep figuring out. Now, Warframe's got a massive update coming out this weekend, which is kind of a bummer because I would like to spend some more time with this horde mode. I love horde modes. I love taking on AI. I love PvP. I've been a PvP player all my life in gaming since the earliest days. But there is just something about competing with your friends about, who's the better killer, just pure, raw, killing as many AI enemies as you can and competing with each other. That's always been incredibly fun. But, yeah, this was recorded at around, it's 1:32 right now, and I just recorded this a few minutes ago, so this is probably recorded around 1. So I'm pretty tired. It's my first round in months of playing Titanfall, fighting the controls. I'm with pubs only, and I still had fun. Now, whether that fun translates 3, 5, 10 of these games down the line, well, I'll let you know when I get to that many. I'm sure it'll still be fun, but again, this is not going to become a dominant thing on my channel. It's not going to become anywhere near the uploads that it was before, but you might expect to see at least 1, maybe 2 more rounds in the foreseeable future in the next few weeks. I might, if I finally do get some other TG guys on. I mean, we have a Titanfall division within Tactical Gaming, and a bunch of the guys that I'm in the Battlefield division with have Titanfall still installed. Not many of them, but 2 or 3 of them still readily play the game on some nights. So I'm sure they will definitely join me in rocking out this new mode, and we'll come up with some good strategies. And here you see wave 5 of 6. So this is the wave that we ended up actually losing the turret. But if you look at it, I mean, it's half of that bar. I'd say that's like what? How many bars are there? It looks like there's 6 of those bars for the shield, so I imagine that's 6 of the things. We have half of that, so that's 1/12 that we're starting the hardest wave out of the 6 waves. This is the hardest one, and we have 1/12 of the health. And again, no communication going on. We don't have anybody that can say, hey, stay here, I'm going to go find the mortars. Okay, I've just used my overdrive mode or whatever it's called, where I hit C here to get the increased in damage. When we got TG guys that I'm with, and I can say, hey, I popped my ability, now I'm retreating back to the point to defend it. You can go off and use your C ability, and once that communication comes in, and I figure out what's going on, I've learned to read the HUD. I've learned to expect where these enemies come from. I'm sure this will be awesome, just like anything with communication is. You know, Battlefield's great, Battlefield with friends is awesome, Battlefield with friends when you're in TeamSpeak and can all easily communicate and strategize is amazing. Same with PlanetSide, same with Call of Duty, but, and same with Titanfall. So I can't wait to check this out and see some of the other maps. I remember this map is one of my favorite maps, just from a visual standpoint. So, but I'm excited to see what some of the other ones. Did I mention it's 1:30 a.m.? Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what some of the other maps offer, and yeah. If you guys haven't checked this new mode out and you did buy Titanfall and you still have it, again, free update. All three of these game modes are free. Check it out while they're hot, while people are all hopping on to try them out. You know, now this is the time that it's the best to check it out, because that's where everybody, you know, eventually after a week or 2 weeks, you know, people go back to the modes, that the tried and true modes that they know and love and that work best. Just like in, you know, Battlefield, the new DLC comes out, all the new maps, the new mode are all awesome, but then after a few weeks, and here's where we lost the point, but after a few weeks, you know, everybody goes back to vanilla maps, because that's where every player has access to vanilla. That's where you get to fight all the newbies that are joining, and so you get to, you know, stat pad yourself because you're fighting lower end enemies. You know, all those reasons that come together in any shooter, in any game that has expansions and DLC that includes maps and content other than something like weapons or players. You know, everybody always reverts back to the original stuff. So try this stuff out when you can. If you guys play on PC, you know, message me and give me your Origin account. I'll get you added, and I'll rock out with you guys, and we can use in-game comms, since they have. I don't think that was originally in the game back when I played, but it is now. I saw the push to talk was Z, so that's cool, and yeah, we can rock this out. You know, can't get you into the TG TeamSpeak since we have it passworded. We're such a gigantic clan that we do have to have a password that we change monthly, so can't get you into our TeamSpeak unless you join up with TG, but we can definitely use some of the in-game comms or something like Steam Chat or Skype or anything like that. But I do love playing with my subscribers. It's always a fun, awesome thing, especially when subscribers end up joining TG. That's really, really cool. We've gotten a handful of subscribers have actually ended up joining TG, and it's really cool getting to play with you guys and helping you guys improve your game. So yeah, this is very interesting to see. Again, this is something that a big game, a big AAA game has it's the same game, has done a lot of cool ideas that I do hope stick. You know, ignoring the single player. Yes, there is a campaign, there's some sort of a story, but it, you know, what Battlefield used to be, where if you wanted a single player experience, then you fought against bots against the same multiplayer maps, but there's no campaign. And then the game goes on to consoles, and you know, they got to have all those selling points on the back of the box with Bad Company. And while it was a pretty cool and funny campaign, you know, it's that one thing you try out for a few hours and then you stick with the multiplayer. And that's what I really wanted from Titanfall, was just a solid multiplayer only game. And they did that. That was a risky thing. At the time, everything was all about, you know, nailing those bullet points on the back of the box, all those selling points that prevent people from selling their game to GameStop, and, you know, because they don't make money off of a used game sale. So they wanted to make sure that people kept the game, so that other people would have to buy new copies, and that their friends would have to buy it, because everybody's got it, and you want that snowball effect. So for them to do something like exclude a single-player, story-driven campaign was a pretty risky thing at that time. And now, at the time of this content's release, I don't want to say DLC, because that typically has the connotation that it's paid for, but they've done a risky thing in that they're giving out free content that they could have sold for $4.99 or $9.99. So very excited to see that. I did pretty good for my first round of this, I guess. going after those titans rather than minions. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Have a good one. Ta-ta.